3, 2, 1, go.
What is up, everybody? As always, I hope you guys are doing great. We're going to start off with paying those bills, mother freaker. We're going to start off with our friends over at Better Air. Guys, Better Air is revolutionizing the IAQ industry. I know you've been seeing on Facebook, you're saying, what the hell is this Better Air stuff? Well, want to know what it is? The best thing fucking ever. Guys, this is a new wave when it comes to IAQ. This is a probiotic solution that is 100% safe. The testing has been done by the University of Oregon. They were big in just home and different platforms, but now they are being brought into the HVAC industry because we know if we're going to clean air and really do it, we need to do it on a whole home basis. So a lot of information out there is hard to come by. But guys, if this is something you're interested in, email us at hvacuncensored@gmail.com, okay? We are one of the four actually, authorized dealers. You got to be careful where you get your information from. Some of the corporate sites are not what you want to go to, so message us. We can get you in touch with James Elul, who is the man who has been making this happen. He's a good friend of the podcast, a good friend of mine and Kelley's that he is the one who is busting his ass to get this product out there, and it's changing people's lives. You don't have to listen to me. You don't got to listen to Kelley. You don't got to listen to James. Talk to someone who has had one of these products in their home. So I give you this challenge. Buy one, put it in your home, or sell one and see what happens. And I guarantee that people are going to love it. I guarantee it. All right? So, guys, remember, the next generation of IAQ, Better Air. Next, this podcast is brought to you by Thermogrid. Guys, if you're looking for an affordable solution for a CRM out there, guys, check out Thermogrid. Guys, Thermogrid is a CRM that was built by an HVAC technician. They're going to give you a bunch of the reporting and the features that you want without that big old price tag. They are offering some great services. They're offering great discounts to our listeners. So let me get you this number. Look at me. I'm not prepared. You guys know me. You know how I am. There is a special number and information that this will get you guys straight to us. So, guys, this number, I want you to call 855-948-0047. That is 855-948-0047, and tell them the HVAC Uncensored podcast sent you. You're going to get a discount for being friends of ours, and the CRM is going to get you started, get you organized. You're going to see things in your business that you never even knew. All right. We also have a link for you to set up a demo, but I highly, highly advise you guys to go check it out, and you make whatever decision is best for you. All right. Until then, I'll see you in a minute.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the USA. And guys, real fast, me and Kelley want to say that our heart goes out to everybody. We know we're all going through this COVID-19 together. To anybody who's been affected as far as sickness by this, our heart goes out to you. We wish you a speedy and rapid recovery. To everyone else, bear through this quarantine. We know it's hard on everybody. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. We will see it. Just be smart, be safe, social distance, stay inside. Let's do our part to stop the spread of this, crazy stuff. All right. We love you. And we're going to keep things as normal as possible here at Uncensored Studios. And we're going to keep having these podcasts out for you so you can keep your mind off of this BS. On to the show.
If you're trying to take your HVAC game to the next level,
Then buckle your seatbelt, crank up the volume, and try not to be offended, because you're listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast with Gil Cavey and Kelley McKay. Now, here's Gil and Kelley.
Yo, yo, yo. Well, welcome to Coronaville, bitches. HVAC Uncensored podcast. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 76 of the HVAC Uncensored podcast. I am your host, yours truly, Mr. Gil Cavey Jr., sitting alongside the one and only Kelley, HVAC motherfudging millionaire. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man?
I don't know, man. I guess we won't talk about this goddamn virus going on. Everybody knows about what's going on with that. So, we wish everybody the best with that. It's affecting us all. Business definitely sucks donkey ding dong right now. So,
yeah. I made a video. I don't know if I'm going to release it or not, but I was just talking about this. We can talk about this real briefly. You know, I think for one, there's always things. Have you ever gotten like really excited about something? Like you're super excited and you're pumped up and you just can't believe it. And it always seems like, you know, you might stay up there, like you get inspired or motivated and you're on this cloud, but sooner or later, there's going to be something that just knocks you sideways, knocks the wind out of you. And it, you know, brings you back into equilibrium, right?
yeah.
It's just inevitable. Like it's going to happen. There's not, we can't live in that cloud all the time. And when we do live in the cloud and it's really a fantasy to think that things can always be that great. I mean, I'm just being real here. Things will never always go your way. And so on the opposite side of that, sometimes when we compare ourselves to what we think our lives should be, or to what somebody else is doing versus what we're doing, or we build this fantasy around what we should be, and we're not actually there. Just from being comparing. When we do that, we tend to put ourselves in a pit. You know, and we take a downward spiral. We start beating ourselves up, and the negative self-talk happens, and everybody goes through this. And that's also a sign. That's a sign that, hey, something's not right. Let's figure this shit out and get back to equilibrium. And eventually we do. Most of us do. So understanding that, the way that just the ebbs and flows of life, like I think with every negative, and I don't want to offend anybody, and I know people are going, you know,
Too late. Just kidding.
There's going to be people who get really sick. There's going to be people who die, and there's already people who have died. And I, like Gil said, we feel for you guys, and I'm sorry if you guys are going through this. And I'm not by any chance or by any way, shape, or form trying to say that that's a good thing. I'm not. It's horrible and it sucks. I'm just saying that there's always going to be some kind of benefit from every negative thing that happens. Sometimes it's really hard to find.
Yeah.
It's really hard to find sometimes, but if we look deep enough, you will find it. And I believe we're pulling back in a slingshot right now. Like everything's pulling back. And then once we get on the other side of this, it's going to just shoot forward. The economy will raise back up, and it might take a couple of months for things to just get normal, like normal again, what used to be normal. But I still believe that we'll have a boost in the economy.
No, I agree. And the sad part is with the downplay, and right now, there's going to be a lot of millionaires made out of this. There's people that are smarter than us that are investing in things right now. And then when the stock market goes to make a turn, they're going to make a fucking killing off of it. Although I do think things will eventually get back to normal. I do think it's going to be a new normal. But I do think that it's going to take a little bit of time because I think people are going to be very, very reluctant after this. So even when they say, oh, kids go back to school, we're good, everything's okay, I don't think it's going to be people jumping for joy in the street, fucking outside, fucking, hey, shake your hand. Hey, shake your hand. I still think people are going to be apprehensive, and it's going to take a little bit for things to get back to what we think is normal. But it will, is what, you know, it will get back.
Yeah. This is just a temporary. It's a temporary setback.
Yeah, and
we just have to approach it that way, and just believe that, you know.
And like I said in my one Facebook post, man, it sucks that something like this has to happen for people to wake up, because how many times do you see most people, even if you see something on the news, oh my God, this horrific thing, like the school shootings and stuff like that, you're sad, it sucks, but people are like, oh, well, it doesn't affect me. You know, you go on with your day. People driving down the road. Oh, I'm not letting this guy over. Fuck you. I got somewhere to go. I don't care what you got to do. Everybody is turned into this selfish piece of shit. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I've never been that way, but I try not to be that person, you know? And this is something that's different because it's affecting everyone. Everyone is affected by this in the country, all over the world. So it's not like you can say, oh, it's not my problem. But I just hope this thing wakes people up to just some human kindness, to be nice to fucking people. I always said, like, chivalry's dead. People don't open doors for elderly, for women, for anybody. It's like, I don't fucking know you. I just hope this really makes people fucking wake up. You know, financially, I hope this really, you know, wakes people up as far as how much money you should be putting aside, about how much, you know, bills you should have in the bank, you know. There's a lot of things that people, if you get out of this and you haven't learned any lessons, and you're a fucking moron. And I'm going to say it just that frank. You're a fucking moron, and that's your fault, because through any crisis should be lessons learned. I mean, period. So
yeah, and cash reserves. I mean, think of it this way, because there's a lot of people who are laid off, like guys that I'm friends with on Facebook who work in HVAC companies, who are good, solid young techs that are laid off, and they're not allowed to work. So one thing that I heard, one of the mentors that I follow, what he said was, the master practices in between performances. And I love that.
I like that.
So when we're talking about that slingshot forward, like, now is the time to, like, master those sales scripts, to, you know, role play with your significant other, or, you know, devour some YouTube videos and learn something.
Yeah. Maybe you'll get lucky, pun intended.
Yeah, exactly.
With that, you know, try to sell a sexual encounter to your wife, you know, if it works out, then your sales are getting better.
I think it's also a time, like you said, it's affecting all of us in one way or another, but this could be the catalyst that helps you make the change that has been needing to happen in your business.
Yeah. It's pushing you. It's pushing you off that ledge, not to be sitting there with this poor me, you know, because everybody's doing the same thing. So there's no poor me in this situation.
Yeah. So if you've been wanting to trim the fat or cut some anchor weight that you've been dragging for a long time, now's a great time to do that. And now is also, like Gil said, it's a great time to develop a plan to build some cash reserves. Sorry, I was gonna say the car ran real good. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with my hands.
That's fucking hilarious. Yeah, man. It's just, people learn from this. Okay, this is a lesson. Learn from it. We're gonna be okay. But be smart. I keep saying this in every post that I do. Be fucking smart. You can't be doing what you did normally. You need to limit your trips when you go out. You know, if you're wearing gloves or a mask, whatever, don't be all close to people. Just use common sense and we'll be okay. We're trying not to overload our medical system and our hospitals. I want to say thank you to all of those people that are working, as far as the nurses and doctors that are there trying to help all this. Thank you to people working in the grocery stores and the gas stations, to all the other essential employees, the firemen, the police officers. Obviously, to all of us, we're essential. You know, we appreciate all you guys, obviously, as well. But to all them others that are out there still working and doing their job, we appreciate you. So common sense, be smart. But let's
Yeah.
Are you good? I was going to start getting into our topic. Do you got something else before we go, or?
No, we're good. Let's go.
Alrighty, let's get into this topic. And here we go, guys. Our topic today is going to be ethics versus profit. Can you be ethical and have these outrageous profits? Can you be 20, 30, 40, $50 million plus a year company and still be ethical? Is this kind of like one of those like scales where you have to get one, you got to lessen the other? You know, it has to balance itself out. Or does it balance itself out? So I guess we'll start off. Just Kelley, let me get your overall opinion, brief overall opinion, because I know your opinion, but let's get your brief overall opinion.
This is a difficult subject to talk about, because what is ethical? I mean, it's like, when it comes to greed is one of those words. Like, it depends on how you define greed, and greed could be defined by an individual in many different ways. So, but, you know, I think that there is always a certain standard that is being followed with 99% of the companies across the country. And then you've got the 1% who may be doing, you know, millions and millions and millions more than somebody else, who might have an average ticket on a install of, say, like a furnace only, 80% furnace. And I'll just say, I was like at a seminar one time, and I saw the ticket. You know, I was in the warehouse and I saw the ticket, and it was for an 80% furnace change out. That was all it was. I don't think it was the actual sales ticket, but it could have been. I think they were still on paper at the time. And it was like $8,045 to replace an 80% furnace. And it had a box on it, and it had, you know, I don't think there was a filter rack on it. It had some flue fittings and not much else. A thermostat. It's flue fittings and a thermostat. And the ticket was $8,045. Well, the reality is if I could sell that in my market, not get laughed out of my market, not laughed, but like, you know, I don't know what the word is, like kicked out of my market, ridiculed by customers, ridiculed.
But let me ask you this: if you could, would you?
If that's what all of my competitors were doing, I guess, you know, if that, and I hate to be that way, like, cause that's like the opposite of what we should do, right? We shouldn't pay attention to what our competitors are doing.
Yeah.
So, and I'm totally for that. I'm an advocate for, like, don't worry about what other people are doing. Just do you. But I kind of find it hard to believe that just doing you has to sell furnaces for $8,000. That's just a basic 80% furnace. Like, that's the part I struggle with. I feel like there's a little bit of indecency there. And well, maybe I'm wrong. What do you think?
No, and Jesus, I don't even know where to start.
It's the same furnace that you and I buy for $450.
Yeah, and most of us, we're all paying around the same for equipment. The bigger companies might be getting a better price because of the demand, the volume that they're buying. So if anything, that's a negative for that price. But my thing is, in the way I feel about it, and I am not knocking anyone who's been successful, these guys that are doing all this, hey, whatever, You do you, that's fine. And I'm not thinking of anybody in particular or nothing. I'm just talking in generalities that my personal opinion, and I've said this stuff before. I said this a long time ago, that I just feel like in order to be a very, very large company, that sometimes ethics has to go out the window. And people can get on here and tell me I'm being honest, I'm being ethical, but you're not. They're not. I'm sorry. Maybe you've brainwashed yourself to think that you are, but you're not. It's how much profit is too much profit. And I know people are probably like, what the fuck are you talking about, Gil? You know, profit is more profit is better. Yeah, but you don't, I mean,
Well, it's a whole reason the business exists, right?
exactly. But we can make a good profit and provide a amazing service and give the customer what they want, you know what I mean, and still make a good profit without like having to gouge it or fucking rape these people because they don't know any better. You know, so we're using the customer's ignorance because we're the experts, and we're going in there and we're fucking long dicking them. I cannot do that and go home at night. I'm sorry. You can call me a pussy, a bitch, whatever. I can't do that. I don't want to make money that way. And if that means that I will never have a gazillion dollar HVAC company, I'll never run a gazillion dollar HVAC company, I'm okay with that. So be it.
I'm totally fine with it too. I would rather do, and a lot of times too, it's not all great big companies. I think a lot of great big companies grow really fast, and they grow because it's kind of based on volume. You know, if you can just drive enough people in there, you could still give them great deals and have high tickets and just keep, you know, there's such thing as a price. There's a book that Tommy Mello and Ken Goodrich, that interview that on Tommy Mello's podcast, and they were talking about this book called Positive Pricing, The Power of Positive Pricing by Matt Mitchell or Michelle Mitchell, I think.
Just say our buddy Matt Mitchell wrote a book.
Yeah, it's
I
spelled
didn't
like
think he was that smart.
it's like Michell. So I don't know if it's Michelle or if it is
Mickey.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
But he talks about something in there that's called, that's a pretty good book. Like I recommend it. You can't get it on Amazon. You got to go to like Ron Smith's website to find it. Just look up The Power of Positive Pricing by Matt Michelle or Mitchell, however you say it. And so I read that book here recently, and one thing that I really took from it was he talks about elastic pricing and inelastic pricing. And that just made a lot of sense to me. So when it comes to your pricing, there are certain
skinny people pricing.
Yeah. There are certain things that are elastic, like a diagnostic fee, for instance. If you're having a hard time booking service calls and you find that seems to be, you know, the diagnostic fee seems to be the barrier from them moving forward and booking the call, well, it's no big deal to us to go ahead and drop the price, because then that's elastic. You know, it can change. It's flexible. Then there's inelastic pricing, which is like, okay, well, they don't have cooling. They have to have this part. It's 100 degrees. They had to wait 3 days for me to come here. They're miserable. They're going to probably pay whatever you charge for, you know, within reason. So that's more inelastic, if that makes sense. So
perfect sense.
Yeah. So the thing about it, and this was my big takeaway for, I guess, whenever you're slower is, which we just came out of slow season. We're all going to be starting to get really busy despite what's happening. The weather is turning.
I hope so.
Yeah, it'll happen. But your ability to become flexible with your pricing, like with equipment pricing. So anyhow, I don't know how I got off on that tangent, but check out that book, because it's all about pricing. And according to that book, you know, when you look at, if you actually get in there and read it, it's all ethical, very ethical pricing in that book. I believe 100% with all my heart, everything that's the examples they give, which would be like a typical business, you know, a small business, very ethical, you know, very just look, here's how you can make money doing this business. And here's how you fluctuate your prices when need be. And, but back to charging $8,000 for a furnace, or, you know, $30,000 for one system in a house.
Well, and that's where we've talked that your geographical location, that I know the East Coast and the West Coast is different. And I'm not saying this to offend anybody, but it is. What systems are being sold for on the West Coast, you cannot sell it for that on the East Coast.
Yeah.
I just, if you are, please let me know, because I don't see it, and I don't see how. At least not on the regular.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Well, when we were talking earlier, is like, it's not a matter of salesmanship or sales skills. if you, I don't care how good a salesman you are, you're going to have people who just refuse to not get multiple bids. Now, I get it. If they want another bid, that means you did not build the value. But let's just face it, sometimes you're just not going to get there for the person, no matter how great you are. Like we've just crushed sales, a sales presentation, and yet the customer still got another bid. And they've even called us and left us a 5-star review, and we're like, you guys did a great job. Like you totally did so much more than the other company, but I'm going to have to go with these guys. And we're like, well, okay, well, what can we do? How can we meet you in the middle, or will you work? Nah, I think I'm going to go with them. It's just about, you know, some people are just about price, even if it is that bottom 15% or whatever it is. So if that's the case and they get 3 bids and I'm $30,000 and everybody else is, you know, 5, 6, 7, $8,000, I'm telling you, I've seen reviews, like reviewing bad reviews for other companies, just out of curiosity, trying to find what the niche is. Like, what are people complaining about? What can we provide that other companies can't? That's a great way. Just go read bad reviews and see what the people are voicing their opinions about. And they will voice their opinion about just a bid, even if you didn't do the work. We've all had a bad review because you quoted a price to do a repair and they didn't go with you, and they call somebody else and then they leave you a bad review. Most of us have went through that.
Yeah.
And if you've been in business for any amount of time, most of us have went through that.
Yeah, definitely. And like you just said, it's our job to create the value in what we're selling. I understand that, like you said. So So if I'm $2,000 more than the next guy, I need to create the value on why they should go with me, on what I'm doing that makes it $2,000 more. And you can somewhat justify that, but not $20,000 more. I don't care what kind of salesmen are. If you can sell ice to a fucking Eskimo, people are not going to fucking do that. So you have to go based on your market. Trust me, there's plenty of times I've went into a house and been the most expensive guy and walked out with the sale. But like I said, I'm maybe 1,000 or 2, sometimes maybe 3,000 max.
Yeah.
But I can't be $5, $6, $7, $10,000 more than the next guy. People are going to be like, it's not that fucking important, you know?
You'll build a reputation really fast. You would in my area.
I know some around here now. I mean, if I wanted to, I could fucking rail off a couple. Rail off, that's not a good term. I could say a bunch of them, you know, and guys, first of all, I don't, because you guys always hear me and Kelley talk about sales and the importance of sales. And yes, we are. And me and Kelley know that sales are important. And that's why we always talk about it with you guys. And we try to teach you some of the practices, because sales is not a dirty thing. I just feel like some people are taking it to a different level. And that's what we're debating here, guys. Is being ethical versus profitable. Is there a way to have them both? Or does one, you have to lose one to get the other? And
well, we did the math, I know what my average sale is, and I'm not afraid to say it's about 72.40. So if that's my average sale, and I did the math, I did 150 installs in a year. That is a little over $1 million in revenue. Well, if I take that and my average sale becomes 18, 19, 20,000, then and I do the math on that, that's 3 times the amount of revenue doing the same amount of jobs. And that's great if you can get that, and it's a competitive market, and that's what everybody's, you're winning bids by a couple grand. But when your competitors, at the best, they may have a 9,000 average when I'm 7,000. And a lot of times I'm not competing against that top dog. So the top dogs here are, they'll chop the legs out from under me. It's the other guy, it's the other smaller companies that bid stuff to make more money because we're doing less volume, right? Because there's always that thing with the more volume you do consistently, you can do it for less money and still make great money in this business. And
but why do I feel like the big guys don't do that though? They
Some of
do
them
more
don't.
volume and charge more money.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the big companies in my area are the most expensive guys in town. So they have the volume, but they're still the most expensive. And I always hear, oh, well, they got to pay for that marketing. I know their marketing is expensive. The big company around here I'm talking about, I know that they spent $1.5 million on a Super Bowl commercial at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that they're spending money, but I don't want to hear that has to, all that's because of marketing. I don't know. I find it hard to believe. I don't know. I'm not going to act like, I'm just my opinion. I could be ignorant to the situation because I don't know, but that's just my opinion.
I would assume that a great deal of it is, it is because of the marketing, just because that old quote that we've talked about before, where I just know that when consumers make an infrequent purchasing decision, they're more apt to do it with somebody that they see all the time, because there's a certain amount of not prestige, but there's a certain amount of peace of mind there. There's, you've built awareness around your brand. They don't think you're going anywhere. So there's, they're safe with you.
Yeah. If they have an issue, you're still there.
Yeah.
Not Joe Schmo. Okay, I paid you $10,000 to install this system, and I call you back. Hey, I got a problem, and the phone number's disconnected. So yeah. People like that peace of mind that you have a history and all that kind of stuff.
It builds credibility, even if they've only been in business for 3 months. If they're just blasting commercials and blasting Facebook, and that's all people see, and they've got rap bands and they have this appearance of a great big company, you're probably more apt to get more money for your installs just because there's that peace of mind. So I understand all of that, but I just know in my market, I couldn't do that. That's what I'm saying, is different parts of the country, it's different.
Yeah. But when does too much profit become price gouging? Like where's that fine line? Where does it become being greedy? What is the perfect amount of profit on every job before you're gouging? And like we all know that there's people out there now selling IAQ products and systems to people for a lot more money than they normally sell it because they're pressuring people in off of their fears. That is wrong. I'm sorry. It's 100%. It's fucking wrong. That's how I feel. I don't really care what anybody feels. I mean, that's me. That's how I feel. Yes, we are pushing IAQ. Take that back. We're not pushing. We're offering IAQ. We're offering options now, but they're the same fucking options we offered before all this madness for the same price. My price isn't going to change because now people are panicked. I don't know. Like I said, maybe that's why we're little guys, Kel. I don't know. Maybe that's why that we're not these gazillionaires, because that's how we think. Um, I don't know. And then, like we talked about earlier, that I feel like a lot of these big companies and a lot of guys coming up now, they're a lot of guys that can't fix shit. They're just salesmen. And we've already talked about the complete guy is the guy who knows that and understands the sales aspect, has a process in place for it, but is also technically smart that he can fix the problem. Not going into a house with never one iota of intention on fixing a fucking thing. That 6-year-old system, they're trying to sell you a new one. And that's all they're trying to do. And we both know that there's guys out there, there's companies out there, and there's companies out there that fucking advocate it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're teaching their guys how to do that. I know that for a fact around me because I used to work for one of them. So
you can tell your story, can't you? Just be vague.
Yeah, this is a long time ago. I worked for a big company around here, and just because I was new, I had to go through the training process and ride with somebody before I got my van and became a selling tech and all that kind of stuff. There was a problem with an infinity gas furnace. It was one of I forget what it was at the time, but it was the best like 90 plus furnace that Carrier offered at the time. There was an issue with it. Couldn't figure it out. The tech had went through this thing. I went through it. It was a legit, like some kind of goofy wiring problem. We get outside and he grabs his, computer, the little laptop they gave or tablet, and he says, why don't you go ahead and stay out here for a second? I'm like, okay. Let me step back for a second. I had dug into it. He didn't even really look at it. We walked outside and he goes, just stay out here. I'll be back. So mind you, he might've looked at the furnace for like maybe 10 minutes, goes back in the house. He's in there for probably an hour, comes out and sold a Carrier 90 plus furnace for $12,000. This is like 15 plus years ago. Probably almost, it's at least 15 plus years ago. And at that moment, I realized that this is not the company for me. I don't know. Go ahead, man. I don't even know.
Yeah, I know. That's how I feel about that. I feel like there's a way to do this ethically and to be able to sleep at night and to feel good about what you're doing, helping people. And I've always said that anybody who sticks it out in this trade and because it's a tough trade, it's tough, physically demanding, mentally demanding, stressful, takes time away from your family, all those things, takes years to learn. So I feel like you if you've been in the trade for that long, like something inside of you just have a servant's heart. That's just how I feel. I feel like you care about people. And yeah. I know I do. I could never tell anybody no if they called me at 10 o'clock at night and they needed heat or needed cooling. Like, I just can't tell them no. I cannot physically do it. I can't take the phones. Like, if I take the phones, because I won't put anything off. Like, we're working till freaking 3 o'clock in the morning. I can't say no because I just want to help these people. Obviously I might promise it, and then at 11:30 have to call them and say, I cannot make it tonight. I'm so sorry. But I had every intent to make it, and I would put them on my list first thing in the morning. So you get what I'm saying? Long story short, like, we have a servant's heart, and I feel like it is possible to build something phenomenal, without charging absorbent amount of fees. And your question is how much profit is too profit? How much profit is too much profit? Well, I think I go back to HVAC Spells Wealth by Ron Smith. Right on the book cover, it says, we deserve 25% net profit. So I would say 25 to 35%. You know, I think you can get more than that when you're very little and you're starting out, but you're going to eventually work your, you know, you're never going to be home. So that's when you're going to have less family time if you're priced right. And if you're able to sell, that's where you've got to start learning how to run the business instead of just doing that. And that most people don't do that. So that's why businesses fail. But so I think 25 to 35%. I mean, I think that's any business, period, any business in the world would be pretty damn happy with 25 to 35%.
Oh yeah, goddamn right they would.
That's really, really a profitable business. So,
well, and I feel like what you just said about, you know, a servant's heart, we do anything for the customers. Like when I worked at a big company, I felt like I was just a number there. When you called HR, if you had an issue, they didn't want your name. They wanted your employee ID number. That's how they identified you.
yeah.
And I feel like that's almost how they have to treat the customers, you know, that customer is a number, a name on a piece of paper, that the bigger you get, you take that personal feel out of it, you know, and I don't know, maybe it's not true, but I don't know. I guess maybe there's a lot that I don't understand. Cause like we said, I know all the hard work that you've put in for 20 plus years. I know all the hard work that I've put in trying to do things ethical and the right way. And I just see things out there that are happening. I'm going to be frank. Some of them disgust me. Some of the things that are being done fucking utterly disgust me. Some I don't understand. And some just don't fucking make sense. So
I've put some of these gurus, so-called gurus in our industry, I've put them on pedestals before where I just looked up to them and thought they were the end all be all. And then later I find out that one particular sales guru claimed that he took out an ad in the paper, and before he even had to, you know, he just opened for business, took out an ad in the paper and had calls to go run to sell equipment before he even had a truck to go run it in or any employees to do it. Well, I later found out, no, he purchased a business that had been in business for 80 fucking years. So they tell these grandiose stories.
pipe dreams.
Pipe dreams. They're fucking pipe dreams. And, you know, I just pay attention to that little stuff. And it just, I could never go out there, and I'm not going to get on HVAC Millionaire YouTube channel and say, you know, grew my business to 2 million in, you know, 2 years or whatever. I'm not going to sit here and just blow smoke up your ass. But I feel like some of the way that people get, and it's not just in our industry, it's all industries.
Yeah.
It's like Ty Lopez, you know, that Ty Lopez, like his videos that were running the pre-roll on YouTube videos where he's out in front of he's washing all of his exotic cars. And you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
It's pipe dreams, man. I'm not saying it's not possible to become wealthy at all, but you got to focus on it and you got to pay attention to it.
Yeah, well, they're selling that to the people that are sitting on their ass on their couch eating fucking Doritos, that have no fucking willpower. They have no get up and go. And those people see that thinking that there's no easy way to wealth. Nobody's going to fucking write down you the blueprint and you're going to do this. And in fucking a couple of months, you're going to be fucking wealthy. It's not the way it happens. It's a fucking pipe dream. And let's be honest, there's a lot of people out there that they say that they want to help you and they want you to have their success. I'm sorry, they don't. They're using their success to profit off of it. And they're selling you a dream of what they had. And I think a very small margin of them ever reach the potential that they think that they're buying. they think they're getting. I think some of these people go in debt. They damn near ruin their fucking businesses. They sacrifice so much to not get a fraction of what they put into it. So it's, I don't know, man.
I'm all about learning. I'm creating a course right now, but I'm not going to sell it for some absorbent cost and not have you like, I want to ensure there is no question that there's value here. I'm not just going to blow smoke up your ass and say roo roo rah rah and get you to pay me a bunch of money and claim that you can do crazy shit in a very, very short amount of time. Because I think all of us, there's a portion of all of us who want to get rich quick, you know?
Yeah.
All of us. That's why so many people play the lottery.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of people want to get rich quick. So,
and they have that lotto mentality in life as well.
So that those claims, those bold claims of like taking out an ad from your living room before you even had anybody who worked for you. And I mean, that's a great story, but that's exactly what it is. It's a fucking story. It's not the truth. And it's not that particular sales trainer, his stuff is great. It is great. But why do you have to lie why did you lie back then about it? Because I can fucking point it out to you. It's a bold-faced fucking lie. And I know other people do it too. And I can't wrap my head around it. Why do you lie even if you have a great product and you are helping people and you're serving people in different industries? That's great, but don't lie about it. Don't lie about your experience.
No.
That's all I'm saying. It's unethical to me.
Yeah. And guys, you all know that listen to this. Me and Kelley are always honest with you. We don't lie about how much we do on our business. I mean, if that's the case, me and Kelley would be like, oh yeah, we both do 20 million a year. You know, we don't, you know, we're honest and we give you the real life struggles that we go through because we know a lot of you, most of you are going through those same struggles. You know, and that's why we give that to you. We go through these things together. We learn, we grow together. And I don't know. I just, some things just really, you know, chat the old butthole. I don't really, you know, it doesn't make sense. I don't know. And let's start off by saying there's a lot of very, very good trainers out there. Okay. So please don't mistake our words. There is a lot of guys out there that are offering fucking gold that we would highly recommend. And we won't get into names right now because I don't want to put any kind of names in this podcast and people associate it in the wrong way. But yes, you need to constantly be learning. You need to hone your craft as far as, to me, the guys that I want them to learn technical ability just as much as they know sales. I want you to be a well-rounded guy. You know, just like once you learn all that and then you become a business owner, now you have to know all the business aspects. Like me and Kelley have talked about a million times because it's a different set of different skill set. You know, but I see a lot of guys now that are getting into the industry and they're doing great. But if they ever had to actually fix something, I don't think they could do it. Especially if it's one of those like problem calls where a so-called senior tech should be able to do it. They're going to sell their way out of it. That's the truth. That's what they're going to do. They're going to sell their way out of it.
Well, I think there's a certain business model that the big boys, I call them the big boys, but we're talking, you know, companies that do 30, 50, 100, 120 million dollars a year. There's a model that they're using. And almost all of them that I know, like I don't know one that anybody who has selling techs. They all have salesmen, and the techs turn over those leads to the salesman. And so it baffles my mind that works so well, because when the technician's there, a lot of times you're building rapport. They like you, they trust you.
Yeah, they trust the tech more.
And then
because you're not a salesman.
For you to leave, and then that same day or the next day or 2 days later for somebody who come out who has never even met you before to sit down and explain options to you. It just seems like you would lose a lot of business that way, but obviously it works.
No, and I learned that a lot of times they say they do that because they try to get that appointment back when both the husband and wife are there.
Sure.
They try to level the playing field to try to limit some of those objections.
And
because I know when we used to schedule for the other company, they would want to make sure, okay, you can do it tomorrow at 4:00. Okay, well, is your husband going to be here? No, he won't be home till 5. Well, why don't we go ahead and book that at 5:30? We'll give your husband time to come home. That way you're both here. I only got to explain this once. It's rather me tell him than you have to explain it to him. Like this shit is pitched. They have it all down. I learned all that stuff. And I'd be lying if I said I don't use some of it, but I don't use it. I mean, yes, would I rather have the husband and wife there to make the decision? I mean, yes, because I want them both to understand what they're buying. Because I do like to sell high-end equipment, and I do believe in building a total package. And sometimes the price does get up there, but I'm just guiding them to what they want, giving them their options, educating them. I'm not like.
Well, that's just one scenario when both decision makers aren't home.
Yeah.
What about when they are home? You're still not allowed to sell anything. You have to turn the lead over to a salesman or a comfort advisor or whatever you want to call them. And it just seems to me like as soon as you disconnect, your chances of reconnecting. But I can't be. I understand from a business perspective. I believe that I have a basic understanding of why. Number one is because, for one, it's good to have a hungry salesman. They're usually getting paid commission. And if it is a viable lead where the customer needs equipment or they're very interested, then they're going to work hard to get that money. Possibly harder than a technician who's usually making a really good wage already. If the technician turned it over and it does sell, he's going to get a spiff also. He may even get a spiff just for turning it over and getting a qualified appointment set up. I think normally they do that. Then if it sells, they get more. So I get that. The technician oftentimes is worried about the next call he has to do instead of just focusing the spotlight on the customer. But there's also a case of tracking everything. When you have selling technicians versus salesmen, you can keep those two categories, those two departments separate, which makes tracking your business numbers a lot easier. I can tell you from experience. So I kind of get you can departmentalize the sales department, right? And then keep the service techs doing service. And of course, we're going to track their conversion ratios and their turnovers, and all those things. But so I get it. And eventually I may switch to that. I don't feel like I'm ready quite yet, but I get why they're doing it. Obviously it works because all the big companies that I know of do it that way.
Yeah, I mean, we don't, but I also feel like, a lot of times, when you go in there and you do your sales pitch and you leave, your chances of doing anything just drastically went down. I mean, I do know the company I used to work for that they would get someone out there ASAP, selling techs. There was, junior techs. They had to do it. They had to give it over to a senior tech or a salesman. A lot of times they would be in cahoots with somebody, and the commission is 8% total. So if you were a junior tech and you gave it over to a senior tech, you would split 4%. If you were a salesman or a senior tech and you sold it, you got 8% of that bid. So imagine that guy got 8% of that $12,000 furnace.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know that they would try to get out there like ASAP. But we all know that normally time is not the more time that passes, it's normally not in our favor. So,
right.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe there's just things we just don't understand, Kelley. I don't know. Maybe we don't understand it and we're ignorant to it. I don't.
Yeah.
But I don't think that. Both of us are pretty educated men that we try to learn things that we don't know. We read books, we watch videos, that we try to stay up to date with what's going on in our trade. And I don't know. If there's anybody out there listening to this, and I would love to somebody, that would talk about this, but I want you to be frank. Don't come on here and fucking bullshit me, because if that happens, it's going to piss me off. And then I might make someone uncomfortable and I'll still release the podcast. But you know what I mean? I want someone to like fucking cut the shit and be honest, like, don't tell me what I want to hear. I want to hear the truth. And hey, if you're successful, then hey, man, whatever. I'm kudos to you.
There'll be some people on here who are, claiming 50% net profit, and I'm sure who will not like this episode. But and I guess if you can stay consistent, and that's not gonna, like, I don't know, when it comes to building a business, I feel like for me it's necessary. I know for all you guys it's not. You're perfectly comfortable, but just how comfortable are you really? Are you, do you have a year's worth of reserves if you get into a car accident tomorrow, or does your income completely stop? And that's the thing, is a lot of people's income completely stops and the business no longer exists, and the business wouldn't exist. So I think it would be important to at least build a company to 4 or 5 people. And if you want to stay that small, great. But at least it can operate and continue to produce an income if something happens to you. And it's going to be worth more money too if you ever decide to sell, instead of just someday just calling it quits and just dissolving the entire company. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. I think it would be in your best interest to grow to at least a few people.
Yeah, no,
Key people, and that anytime, if you're making crazy amounts of profit, that's great. But when you add people and you start adding some systems or more equipment, more vehicles, more whatever, sometimes that's going to cut into your profit. Just be aware that's it's going to take, there's going to be more monthly expenses to pay. So
let's say to all the one-man bands out there, we want you guys to go out in the next month or so. We want you to try to sell a system for twice what you normally sell it for, and let me know how it goes for you. Guarantee it's not going to go very well.
No. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, we can start wrapping this up, and
yeah,
we're happy. This is not me and Kelley we've had some awesome guests. We love it. If you guys did not listen last week, check that out. Marketing 101 with Ashley Paragoy. She was amazing. Very, very awesome woman. And her husband, Nick, who's the owner of Monticello Air.
Shout out to the Monticello Air Boys.
Yes, you guys should all be listening. Nick said you guys all listen. So the word that you guys need to know is Shawaba. Okay? Shawaba. So if Nick, I don't know, you got a better word? I was trying to think of something goofy. That's the first thing that came to my head.
Shawaba?
Yeah. Skadoosh. There we go. Skadoosh.
First word I thought of is buzz. Just because. Buzz.
There, whatever.
Z. Those look like R's.
Yeah.
Those are Z's.
Yeah.
They look like R's to me. Anyhow. Yeah.
But anyway, we want you guys to make sure. I'm going to call Nick. Okay. You guys got to tell him that you listen to the podcast. Go up to him and be like, hey, Gil and Kelley told me to tell you buzz. Okay.
Okay. Buzz.
All right. We're going to use buzz. Be like, we wanted to tell you buzz. That is going to be Nick's confirmation that you guys listen to the podcast. All right. So we want to thank them. That was an awesome episode. Yeah. If you guys go ahead and check out both of our YouTube channels, Kelley is going to be HVAC Millionaire. Kelley's been putting out some awesome content. I am finally putting out videos. I put out of State of the Union, just kind of letting people know that my plans with that channel. Check it out. I won't go into detail, but me and Kelley have both decided that I'm going to make the content for the Uncensored channel. Kelley's going to keep making it for HVAC Millionaire. He had that channel long before me and him ever got together. And it's hard enough trying to make content for one channel rather trying to make two. So I've had a couple people hit me up. There's nothing wrong with me and Kelley. We're not, it wasn't a bad thing. I had somebody message me earlier, like, are you and Kelley okay? I'm like, yeah, we're fine. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. I just think it's best for both of us. And we're just going to, there'll be a description, like all my videos. I want to put a description for Kelley's channel, and then he'll do the same. I mean, we're still together. All of the podcast stuff and the live streams will still be on the Uncensored channel. And who knows, maybe down the road, me and Kelley will jump back and forth. But for now, we're just going to keep it that way. It's easier, just so everybody knows. But
yeah, it's hard to come up with content if you're trying to do two channels. For me, like if I'm doing that channel and keeping up with my other channel that I've had for 4 or 5 years now, like it's hard to come up with content and then have the time to shoot it and then edit it. And even though I'm editing it on my phone, because that's why my videos aren't as good as Gil's.
Yeah, but that's why Kelley has a bunch of videos and I have one.
Yeah, because I'm more about just get it out there, just get it done. I don't have time to. I shouldn't say that. I don't make time to shoot it and then edit it the right way on a higher quality. So
well, but you know what? And to be honest, I don't think that I do things the right way, because if you listen to all these big YouTubers, they always say content is king.
Yeah.
Any camera, whatever camera you have is the best camera at that moment. And that's what I'm going to get to. I mean, if I can try to jazz it up a little bit, great. But now it's just about getting the content out to you guys. That's the most important thing. If I can pretty it up a little bit in a better package, great. If not, it's going to be shoved in a dirty manila folder, whatever. But all right, buddy, I guess let's start closing this out. And hey, just so you know, we're going to start letting you know in advance. Me and Kelley are open again next week. It's going to be just me and Kelley as of now. We do have some different people booked. I'm going to go ahead and let you know real fast. And if there's anyone out there that you guys would ever want us to interview or talk to, let us know. Me and Kelley have a lot of people we're going to start to line up. The schedule's been getting so busy here lately that the only reason this was open is because we had someone reschedule for a later date. Otherwise, me and this wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
But let's see who we have coming up. Let's see. I don't know who some of these people are, like what they're for. We have Elizabeth Casebolt. What is she from again? I don't know.
I don't remember.
Yeah. There's the Rodney Coop.
Rodney Coop is the new flat rate. He's the owner of the new flat rate app,
Awesome.
Yeah.
There's Christopher Laurentino. He is Christopher John. If you see on Instagram or in Facebook, Chris is, I want to say he's like Jersey, New York, something like that. But he's an awesome technician, a very smart guy. Like, that's going to be an awesome podcast. I think you guys are really, really going to like that. And then after that, so let's see, Wednesday the 8th would be, our date is different.
The following Monday after that.
So I won't give the dates. Anyway, after that, we have Andrew Zakoff from Service Titan. So that is one we already recorded that we're redoing because of some issues. But, yeah, and that's as far as our calendar will let us look right now. But I know that we have people out past that. And we have some other awesome guests that we're going to get in. But we do want your feedback on the kind of guests that you look. Obviously, I check the analytics and I look at the downloads and stuff. And it looks like you guys like it when we bring actual like technicians and working guys and peoples and hearing their stories. I've noticed that they are some of the better downloads. Me and Kelley have made a few decisions as far as so-called companies coming on here. We always want to bring good products and services to you guys, people that we advocate, that we think are good. Obviously, the companies that we choose to partner with and sponsor with and stuff like that. But on the other hand, we're not giving free advertisement, though. And I'm just going to come out and say that. So if people are listening to this and they're like, oh, I love to get on there and talk about my product, and that's your only purpose for doing it, don't waste your time emailing me, because we're not going to do it. All right?
I personally hate the product podcast.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy them, man, at all. Now, when we're talking to like Brad and what's his wife's name?
Brad and Sarah Casebeer.
Yes, like those are cool. And I love talking to Tommy Mello, and I love talking to Victor, and like those are just cool and fun, and it's upbeat, and there's a vibe.
Because you're hearing people's stories and
yeah,
things of what made them successful and stuff like that. Not like, my capacitor is the best capacitor out there. You just use my capacitor because I make mine with better parts than everybody else. So let us know what you think. We're going to get away from those. We just don't like them, or if we do them, it's going to be worked out on our end a little bit different. Because we're going to start getting away from that. We almost feel like we're being used and abused. And because of you guys, because Uncensored Nation has gotten so big, that we feel like we don't have to do those. And obviously from what the analytics tell me, you guys don't like them as much. You guys still listen to them, but not as much as the other ones. So we want to give you guys what you want, obviously. So yeah. And please, like we always say, we love your feedback. I had a guy that told me one time, he was like, man, Gil, with that breathy, like in between stuff. And I was like, man, I'm sorry. I'm an HVAC guy. I'm not a radio host. And, I smoke 8 packs of cigarettes a day. So I get these long, windy breaths. And when I get done, I got to be like, I got to catch my breath again. So, but we still, as long as you're not an asshole when you say it, we love your guys' feedback, man. You guys are the end user. You're our customer. So we love your feedback. Please. You can hit us up on all of our social media sites. Here, I'll put it on my little screen again if you're watching it. But we're on Instagram. I've been way wrong side.
Yeah, I can't reach
this one. This one. Kelley's giving me the middle finger. Yeah, so we're on Instagram. I've been a lot more active on there. The Facebook group is still growing like wildfire. Obviously, you can email us, hvacuncensored@gmail.com, and then go check out both of our YouTube channels. I actually need to add that. So HVAC Uncensored, subscribe to that, and also subscribe to HVAC Millionaire, and check out all the stuff that Kelley does, and hit that bell notification so that you are notified every time we put content out. Don't forget that me and Kelley do live streams every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the HVAC Uncensored YouTube channel. All right, let's close this out, man. I'm talked enough.
Yeah, go check out the last episode of that. We had our buddy Ron Nelson on there. That was a great episode. Good conversation. So it's on the YouTube channel. Go subscribe. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. Guys, be safe. Take the precautions. I watched a video that another company was doing they were promoting to show their customers what they were doing to combat the situations with the virus that's going on, and one of the things I said, which I thought was really smart, is to, any dealings directly with the customer, you do it outside. That way you're not in confined space, and in case a sneeze happens or something, there's lots of room for you to, but just protect yourselves is what I'm saying. Just absolutely protect yourselves. And just know that do not let a temporary setback ruin a long-term vision. This too shall pass, and don't let your small business make you small-minded, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, share this with your friends, family, coworkers. Go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, leave us a review. Please leave us a review, and on the next episode, we will read some of those reviews.
Yeah, we need to do that again.
Yes, that is a lot of fun, and we appreciate it. So if you want us to read your reviews, make sure after this episode that you go leave us one. Thank you so much, guys. Love you guys. Take care. Reach out to us if you need anything at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. And appreciate you, Gil. I haven't told you that in a while. Greatly appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you for everything you do and serving this community. So you guys are great. We love you. Go make money.
Yeah, buddy. First and foremost, thank you too, buddy. I appreciate you. This show wouldn't be this. This show is what it is because of me and Kelley both, because of our connection to each other, because of we're genuine and everything that we put into this. So the HVAC Uncensored is us. It's me and Kelley both, and I love what we've built here. I love where it's going, and yeah, so that's awesome. But we thank you guys, man. We love you guys. We know you're all going through trying times right now. We want you all to be safe. Like I said, common sense, be smart. We will all get through this. Like Kelley said, if you guys need us for any reason, any questions, concerns, anything at all, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We will do our best to help anyone like we always have. Yeah, so I'm going to keep this short, man. Thank you guys, man. We appreciate you. We love all of you. We really, really do thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts for supporting us for so long. It means the world to us, man. We're just two regular guys like you that have been in this trade for a long time, trying to give back to the community because we love this community. We love serving and helping people. Point blank. That's why we do it. We're no super techs. We don't know everything. Obviously, our companies aren't the biggest. We don't make the most money. We're not the richest people. We're not the smartest people. But we have good knowledge. We have good tips and tricks that do help people be successful. And we see it every day with the emails that we get from you guys thanking us, saying, hey, I did this and now this happened. Or, hey, man, you guys, listening to you guys has gotten me so motivated, that now I've done this. And that is the ultimate fucking payoff when we hear that kind of stuff. It's amazing. So to know that we're actually impacting people's lives in a positive way. So, yeah, let's go ahead and I had something else I wanted to say, but I had a brain fart. Don't worry. You guys will see me again. So remember, guys, be safe out there. Always make it home the same way you left. Remember that always do what the next guy's not doing. Set yourself apart, all right? That's about it, man. Until next week, I love you guys. Oh, hold on. Kelley's got something to say.
One more shout out to Mr. Zeke, who he hangs out all the time on,
Oh, that's Maryland boy, man. I love Zeke.
Yes, Zeke. He's your boy. I just want to give a special thank you to him because I've been looking at different softwares, dispatch softwares, thinking about making a change. He's involved in a couple of different softwares at the present moment. We did a Zoom call together. He, took me on a tour through it, and I just greatly appreciate. That's what I love about this community. Everybody's willing to reach out and help each other. And I just wanted to say a special thank you to Zeke. And, just a week ago, I went and got to meet Jessica and Craig Egan, who are fans, and they listen to the podcast every episode. And it was so neat because we're just one of you. Like, I think you guys feel that with us. We're just one of you guys. We could sit and talk HVAC for hours.
Yeah.
And I could have talked to those two for, like, we stayed at the restaurant for probably three hours, 3.5 hours. I could have stayed there till 8 o'clock at night, just because I just enjoy, sharing stories and sharing. So thank you everybody to our community. It's just awesome.
Yes. Thank you all, man. And shout out to Ron, our buddy Ron Nelson, for coming on, like Kelley said earlier last night. I want to thank all of our moderators of the Facebook group who helped run that for us, because me and Kelley both know that that's a fucking full-time job.
Oh my God. It is insane.
Yeah. So guys, we are always about helping you, helping everybody learn. Guys, let's help each other. We're all trying to accomplish the same goal. All right. Let's help each other. Don't be an asshole. Don't bring people down. We do not advocate that, and we're going to push it out. It's going to be pushed out of the group even more so here lately. So, yep. So before Kelley rudely interrupted me.
Sorry.
So you just kidding.
I had to say that.
No, I'm glad you did, man. I'm glad you did. So, yes, we thank you guys. We love you. And until next week, we will talk at you motherfuckers. I didn't say mofos. I'm saying the fuckers this time. Oh. Motherfuckers next week. Peace. I'm gonna let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we going way up. Don't be used as easy as a layup. Fucking late, stay up, stay up. I'm way up. Now I'm busy saying no way up, way up, way up. On track, now we going way up, way up. Now we going way up, now we going. On track, now we going way up, way up. Now we going way up, now we going.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.